Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the stream. It's me, DIGI. We are back in Microsoft Flight Simulator for another round of scenery development, and I'm adjusting my volume levels so Sim might get loud or quiet. I am going to jump right into developing at Lafayette Regional this afternoon, and I am going to go there now that I have my stuff loaded, and we're going to continue to do our ground cover for the airport. There we are. Got myself set. And just double checking my other screen. Oof, man. Lots of notifications. Okay. Done deal. So, goals for today. I'm probably going to try to stream for about an hour, maybe a little bit more. That's how much time I had before I'm going to head off to do some family stuff. So let's jump in. In case you're new to the channel or you've never been here before, I have been doing scenery development for Microsoft Flight Simulator for roughly the past 2 years. I actually do have a payware scenery for sale in Sim Market outside of Williamsburg, Virginia. It's a private field called Camp Peary Landing Strip. Its code is W94, and you can look me up under, I believe, DIGI Scenery Studio if you go on Sim Market. With that said, I've been trying to get my scenery development muscles back to good because I've been busy with other projects, busy with a really busy IRL software dev year, and I feel like this is beginning to become a good habit again, and I like good habits, so we're back. Let me go to top-down camera, and we're going to take a look at the ground cover we have. I'm not done with the ground cover. There's still plenty of areas I actually have to go over. And I've been working on setting up these areas of ground cover, the roads, and the buildings will come. Either I'll make them default buildings or I will otherwise just create buildings for them. What I might do is I might get rid of the building exclusion rectangles for now, just so I have default buildings there, and then I'll make a determination as to whether or not I'm going to create custom buildings for them. If I'm going to create that many custom buildings, I'm probably going to make them simple. They probably won't have interiors, and I'll leave the interiors for like the main terminal building, some of the hangars, things like that. Sogan, my good friend, it is so good to see you. Welcome aboard. I appreciate having you aboard. Welcome. A quick bit of scenery dev this afternoon before I spend time with the folks, but wanted to get it done. I wanted to do something yesterday, but I just kind of like stepped into this just mode of doing pretty much like, I mean, effectively nothing PC wise. I did do stuff, family stuff yesterday, cleaned up and did stuff around the house, eventually went out and got a few things taken care of, but I did not spend that much time on the computer other than catching up on streams and saying hi to people. It was one of those days where, like, looking back on it, I'm like, this was actually very good. At least I feel like it was. And that's my story. And honestly, it really was a good day yesterday. It what's the best way I can put this? It really forced me to just air out my brain. I don't think I've done that enough, especially not after like this year. And it's just like, oh, well, hey, turns out that's a really good thing to do. So now that I got it going, I'm back in the mode to do some more scenery dev. Trying to figure out my way around this airport scenery, but honestly, I'm using satellite imagery to give me an idea of where things are. And this helps me with regards to getting my entrances and exits to areas entered, things of that nature. Is this scenery going to be pixel perfect? Not at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's going to be sincerely or sorely lacking in spots. And to be quite honest, I don't care. I'm trying to dismantle some of the usual excuses that I make when I'm either trying to work on scenery development or trying to decide what to do when I am doing scenery development. And one of those things is like, oh, well, I don't know if I'm going to get this like absolutely 100% perfect. There is no absolutely 100% perfect. And in fact, shooting for that is just going to make me feel horrible. So that's dead. Like, I just don't want to care about that. To that extent, like, I mean, to the extent that I want to do a good job, sure I do. But perfection, that needs to just go away for good. I remember, like, most of this year for me was kind of in that category. Like, there are times when I'm so busy that I stop and look back on the things that I've worked on, and I'm like, I don't remember. Um, like, you get into this groove sometimes in life, and you just get to a place where you're just like when I used to commute to work a lot, there would be mornings where I would just be driving, and all of a sudden I'd be like, what's going on? There's this thing called having your brain on autopilot. You're there, you're conscious, you're doing your thing, you're driving a vehicle, but you're on autopilot. So, you're doing your stuff, and you're so it's so, what's that word? Rote. It's so much a part of like your daily existence that you don't commit that much brain stem to it. So when you get to the point where you're like, wait a minute, like, I don't remember driving here. It's like you drove, you were functioning. It's just that you were paying attention to the stuff. I see that. I see that. Um, as a software developer, there's definitely flow state that you need to be in to get meaningful work done, to get projects done. And that's the state that you strive to be in. And the state in which, if you're not in it, you're going to have a very hard time getting meaningful work done. And by meaningful work done, I quite literally mean the stuff you're supposed to do for a living. So this concept of flow is definitely something I care about in software development. Also in scenery dev too. And I think I was my own worst enemy with regards to flow, with regards to creating airports or doing things like Blender work, which I actually haven't done in a while. So I need to make sure I get my Blender chops back as well before I start forgetting things any more than I've already forgotten. But I want to enjoy the process, and taking time to get back into the SDK and work on stuff like this is definitely reopened or refocused my attention on the concept of actually creating things. But switching back and forth between a lot of stuff is great if you are in that business. Like, if you're in a call center and you're switching from call to call to call to call, and you're just kind of focused on doing your work, and you're not doing very creative work, that's one way you can probably while through your workday really fast. If you have to do creative stuff and you're bouncing back and forth between things, I can see it getting more challenging. I can see it getting difficult to be like, oh, well, like, I don't feel like I got a lot of work done today. I can tell you from personal experience, one of the reasons why that usually happens to me is usually because there's either a lot of meetings or there's this issue of, say, oh, well, like I had to do X, Y, and Z, and then I had to talk to this person and that person. I get you. In one sense, I almost feel like this year taught me some good habits and maybe some bad ones too. And up until this year, I don't recall being as like sold out to the process of working on a software development project. And it's a learning experience. The long calls made time fly. Gotcha. Roger that. I just know there were points during the year for me where I was just like so focused on trying to just learn and survive the absolute brain crunch that I'm pretty sure I was short with people, and I just did not have healthy habits. I found some more lost weight, you know, and in general there was a lot of stress. So things things. But the funny thing is, the challenge has helped me understand what it is that I'm shooting for, what it is that I'm trying to do, what I want to do with my time, with the people around me. I'm not I'm not what am I trying to say? I'm not as interested in so many of the things that I think or that I used to think I wanted out of my time or out of my interactions with people, with projects, with all this stuff. Like, I'm trying to do things differently. And sheesh, what? It's the kind of stuff that really wakes me up to understanding how I want to spend time. At any rate, I feel like every time I get into scenery dev a little bit more each day, each week, I feel like the momentum's starting to come back and I'm starting to really appreciate the concept. And I was big on scenery dev back in the day, and I want to stay on it, and I want to keep up the pressure because I want to win at this again. But even more than that, I want to enjoy it. I want to make this a regular part of my rotation. And all those things I used to do, all those things I used to do that like said, oh well, like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Like I'm gonna focus less on being like a Twitch streamer per se, and I'm gonna focus way more, or I want to focus way more on just focusing on this thing, focusing on scenery development again, and being better at it. I'm happy that I'm happy that to see you level up, and it's also cool to have conversations about Blender in Discord because then that's kind of like a multi-level benefit for me. It reminds me, hey, dude, stop being lazy, get back into Blender. And also, um, I finally decided to, first off, get Blender 4.2. Second, get the official Asobo plugin for Blender to be able to do exports, which I haven't tried yet, but I want to. And also, again, more motivation to get back into it, to do the things. So this is good. This is quite good. All right, let's stick this apron back in aprons. What building was this? Let me put my labels back on here. This was, actually, I don't know what this was. It's a fairly nondescript building by the side of runway 11. I don't know. We're going to call it an unnamed building. We're going to call it an unnamed building is what we're going to call it. So there we go. Unnamed building, tarmac and parking. Because I was lazy and didn't break it up into two pieces, but that's okay. Why is it okay? Because I don't have time to freak out about it. It's all right. It is all right. I am going to change my material, of course, because I want this to be concrete beige, square beige, and take off ground merging so I can see the textures more clearly. One in particular you're really excited for. Well, I'm happy that that's something that's going to hopefully turn out well for you. I need to adjust the angle. Is it 70? Yeah, I think 70 is going to do. 70 degrees, 25 meters for texture tiling. I'm going to leave texture tiling considerations alone for now because I have a lot more ground to cover. If you'll pardon the pun, but this is a DIGI stream, so you've been warned. I'm going to try to cover as much ground as I can as quickly as I can because things. And because this is going to be more or less the same texture, I'm probably going to crib off of this, subdivide some points, and we're going to start bringing things into question here. I'm going to delete the surface just so I can see what I'm doing. Is it easier for me to resume editing? Yes, it is. Wow. Woo. Because it was going to, oh, no. That's not going to be easier. That's going to be more difficult. So wait, if I resume editing from here, nope, doesn't matter. That's why you want to do your level best to do all your editing before you press enter. Because otherwise it's going to be really, really, really annoying. But that's okay. We learn by doing, and sometimes we fall hard. I talked about this a little bit on my Discord a few days ago, but honestly, the past couple of years has just been a kind of like journey of figuring out how I want to spend my time on stream and off. And I'm starting to get really comfortable with this idea that says, you know what? I feel more comfortable doing scenery development on stream now than I ever have. And I don't feel compelled to do that much with actually doing flights on stream or other things. Scenery dev has literally become my jam now again. And I think I'm in a place where I've finally gotten comfortable and been able to admit that to myself and just been like, no, this is what we're doing now. And I'm not gonna, worry about it. We're just gonna go ahead, go all in, full steam. I forgot whether or not I could actually get my hands on a copy of the SDK ahead of time, but it would make no sense for me to have a copy of the SDK ahead of time if I couldn't actually create and compile scenery to use in the current sim. That is to say, I pre-ordered FS 2024, and if I don't have the ability to use the sim, to use the SDK to create scenery for it, then what's the point of having it? Also, I heard there are going to be some challenges, I think, in the realm of creating scenery or having what's the phrase I'm trying to say? Having building archetypes available. So I think the heavies, the companies that are going to have the ability to create their own custom objects, are probably going to be the ones that are going to be able to actually, release scenery more. People that are established. And folks like me and folks like everybody else, we're going to have to potentially improvise. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I will see how things pan out. All right, now I can subdivide the edge. Oh, I'm sorry. What? What? That was weird. Okay, so now subdividing is going the other way. That's a little bizarre, but that's okay. If I gotta do it this way, that's how I gotta do it. Something about that's not speaking well to me. And now, huh. Okay, clearly there's something about this that I'm misunderstanding. So, okay. I may have to get very vocal about this with Asobo and be like, hey, guys, can you help me understand the SDK more? So, such is life. What I find really interesting is that when you create certain textures, trees that are right next to them disappear. That is a very interesting and somewhat complex quandary, but is okay. We move on. Now we're going to create some more. I'm optimistic about FS 2024. I think, any company has the potential to, throw away its lead, so to speak, by um, not having it be very successful or focusing on the wrong things. But I'm hopeful that they're going to be able to learn from FS 2020 and create something really cool. I mean, they're they're basically, getting ready to actually finish polishing the thing and get it ready to go. So we're at that phase now. Like alpha testing is basically okay. This thing is like done and ready for like bug squashing. So it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, well, we've only gotten started doing the development and we're in alpha testing. No, I was always under the wrong impression about what alpha testing actually was. Um, I'm gonna simplify it in one sense. Alpha testing is more like, Okay, we're at the point where we've got most of what we need to get done ready, and now we're gonna bring it to pass, and now we're gonna squash bugs, get everything out of the way, get it checked, get it done, boom. What I've seen about MSFS 2024 so far is that the visuals are cool. They've got a new gameplay mechanic, which I will be trying out off stream. Uh, you know, Flame Suit on, judge me, career mode. And I'm going to be paying attention to certainly the scenery development SDK. I'm going to try to develop more with regards to low level stuff. I want to start digging into the XML, into the, I think, WASM programming language, and start figuring out how to make the scenery do the things that really make the experience even more enjoyable than you might think it would be. So, what's the best way I could put it? I want to learn. I want to create something which is going to kind of make people pay attention. Because if I'm going to build my own business and base it on this, then the point is it, you know, we need to create things that are going to definitely serve the interests of the flight simmers that are out there, the people that are actually looking for really cool things. And honestly, I want to get there. And is this like that in... Yeah, actually it is. Okay. Default color might be good enough for this. I can keep the ground merging off, or keep the ground merging on just to see where those other things were. Oh, you won't see it that way. That's fine. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what FS 2024 brings to the table, and I really do hope it's better graphics, better scenery, better aircraft, a better overall experience. And if I do create a bunch of regional airports with jetways and airport terminals and stuff like that, I really hope that I can figure out how to make the experience more interactive. And in some ways, I feel like Microsoft or Sobo wants to do that too, because I feel like they're going to want to take a piece of the pie back from all the third-party devs that have made stuff. They might be gunning for, top spot. They might be trying to put people on notice, like, hey, we want stuff like this to be a part of the base sim. But I mean, you know, you can only go so far with the base sim, and I think third-party devs will still be around in many ways to make their stuff, shine through. I don't think GSX is going away anytime soon, but I do think there's going to be new things that are going to make the experience more interactive than it was before. Certainly, the built-in model matching is going to be a great help for people like me who are lazy and just want to see planes show up with real-life liveries. Although, to be perfectly honest, if if I did see, World Travel and Orbit Airlines, that would not make me go, "Oh, the sim sucks," because I grew up with those liveries. So in the sim, so I'm happy with that. What would I call this stretch of asphalt? I don't know. Let's see. Unnamed, paved, truck parking. Okay. And we've got some other things to put in here. Right off of PHI Drive and Tower Drive, there's this area where you have what look like fuel tanks and just a guarded concrete road here. So we're going to make some concrete. Based on the video footage and the screenshots that I saw, Sogan, I feel like they're going to make default airports more bearable. I feel like I haven't seen the default airports yet, and to be completely honest, I don't know if they're going to be virtually the same, except for a little bit of fit and finish. What I have paid attention to is ground cover, textures, runways that look more like runways, especially where like you have these random, patched cracks of asphalt, where you have, I don't know, I mean, grass, patches of grass, or better terrain overall, based on what I've seen people do in their alphas, in the alpha testing stage. Is it going to be good? Yeah, yeah. I'd like to see them start doing more work towards that as well. I feel like um, default airports in MSFS versus default airports in X-Plane 12 and X-Plane 11, they're completely different topics of discussion, and there's a reason why. The X-Plane ecosystem has long had this kind of support from people that are creating better default copies of airports, so that when I fly an A320 from, you know, Dover to, bad example of an aircraft, but if I flew a an A320 from, say, Baltimore, Washington to Roanoke, then there would be a much better experience flying into an airport that I would recognize, or that at least would look like something other than the AI treatment that's been applied. And I don't think that's something that Asobo or Microsoft isn't aware of. I think they're very aware of people's opinions of the default airports. Uh, I like flying, but I think maybe one of the reasons why scenery development has become something which hasn't stopped being a pursuit of mine is because, quite frankly, I fly into some airports and I'm like, well, this building doesn't look realistic, and I want to make stuff that's better. But am I going to be mad at them? Look, if the alternative is having absolutely no buildings versus having terminals that look like, 3 or 4 story hotels with terminals on them, if it's nothing versus that, like, I'll take the hotel terminal just so I can have something to taxi to. I'll just fly into it during the daytime because I don't like the way the terminals look at night when they don't have a lot of lights all over the place and things like that. But again, I mean, that's more of my opinion, but that is my opinion. Oh, well, okay. We're of one mind about ramp lighting, but you were talking about the general layout of the airport. Oh, yeah, I guess that's a thing. Um, yeah, won't argue with their logic. If the buildings are laid out in a way that's inconsistent with the way that things actually exist at the airport, then I'm guessing the Azure AI got the overall layout of the airport wrong. And that could either be due to the way that the airport is laid out IRL versus in the sim, and it could also be due to um, the way that the airport was interpreted. So I see that. Unnamed fuel road. So we're gonna change the material again. You guys know where I'm going with this. Square one beige. And then that's it. Take the ground merging away. And the layout here is actually not that bad to start, but we'll go. I mean, whether or not I decide to do different patches of concrete to get the concrete patches lined up better, I'm not going to worry about that right now. Also, I see we're going to have to do things with fencing, but not bad. Not bad. We're covering ground here, folks. We are definitely covering ground. What else did I have to do? Hmm. We did the helicopter stuff off stream. At least I think I did. There's plenty of parking that I still have to work on. So we'll do this next. What is this building here? Okay, so that's another PHI Aviation building. That's right. That's right. Black Shark is one of the things that shows up whenever you start the program, but I'd forgotten, I'd long since forgotten what it was used for. So if they're not renewing the data set for whatever it is, buildings, photogrammetry, ground cover, then things are going to start getting stale. And whether or not that's what happened, the jury's out for me. But I I can imagine when stuff gets stale and things aren't updated and airports change, then that's going to be a problem. It won't be hard to determine that you're going to have issues with airport layout if you don't update your data set. Of course, I'm one to talk. I've released sceneries that I haven't done updates to in a while. So I also understand the issue with creating scenery and not getting to it. Now, at the outset, I was creating airports for fun because I was like, busy rediscovering creating scenery in a flight sim. But certainly, if I'm going to be doing this for a living, then I'd better be focused on doing this consistently, professionally, regardless of whether or not it makes me a bunch of income for PR. It's important to take care of your customer base. And sometimes the way you make money is by not making any money, by creating, by basically taking care of your customer base and making it apparent you're there to support them. And I've been listening to people on YouTube talk about stuff like business and starting businesses and things like that. And one of the things that's very important or very apparent is this concept of what am I trying to say, of the target group that you're trying to cater to. There's like trying to do stuff just to make money versus trying to do stuff because you are somebody that likes to fly in Microsoft Flight Simulator and you are tired of flying into default airports because they don't look that good and you want people to have a much better experience to fly out of airports that they know. And no, I don't have the manpower to create airports like Philly International by myself, even though in moments of emotional bravado, I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to make an entire international airport all by myself because I'm passionate like that. Now, if I did that for a living, then that might change. But since I don't, it's going to take a little extra effort to do. Actually, excuse me, a lot of extra effort. Because work, because bills, because life. But I can tell this is something that I don't just do because I'm trying to turn it into a business. This is something that I do for fun right now because I like the concept of creating airports that people can fly into that they recognize. Like I like doing this. This is more than just a means to an end. This is an end in and of itself. It's the thing that I want to do because I want to do it, if you can understand that. Like otherwise, like, why am I why am I streaming this? And yeah, I like to stream this, but realistically, like if I'm not if this is something that I'm doing for fun, then why am I spending my time on a Sunday doing this? Because I have a paying job. Like, I don't have to do stuff like this to make money, but eventually I would like to make money doing this. So it's definitely an exercise in what you call that? Not parallels, differences. I like doing this. I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be committing this much time to doing it. I think I'd be driving myself nuts going, huh, this sucks. Like, I don't know, um, trying to learn how to play golf. Like, I might learn how to play golf someday. I might even be somewhat good at it in the future, but I don't know that golf is something that I'd enjoy doing. I don't have the passion for it. Um, Pick up basketball with friends, would be great for my overall health, but again, not something I try to pursue as a career. Scenery development, something I enjoy, something that I wish I was better at, but something where the finished product is something where you can go, hey, this looks a lot better than default. And this isn't a knock against the people that actually make the scenery, the sim. It's just that they created over, what, 80,000 airports using AI, and it's like the computer's going to make assumptions. So that's what happens. I I like I used to like playing games like Microsoft Golf and Lynx 386, and I think I played one or two other games on other systems. But golf is one of those games where I can only I can only approach a level of appreciation when I see the masters play it. When they boil it down to just simple actions that produce results. You whack a ball down the green, it lands in the putting green, they put it in to get a birdie. I can follow along. I can keep pace or pretend I'm keeping pace or just listen because of the way that the programming is structured. When I say programming, I mean television, but I'm saying me playing it, no, 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 not happening. No. So no. Okay. Now, did I have another PHI Aviation parking area? No, no, that's it. Let me create some islands here because we got them. We got them. Got him. Let's make some grassy areas here. I might, I might try to figure out how to create 3D raised sidewalks to make parking areas look more realistic. Right now, I'm not too worried about it, but that is going to be something I'm going to think about going forward. Well, when you put it that way, it sounds hilarious. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. There's plenty about life that I don't get, like, really don't get, but that's funny. Um, it's a thing. it's such a thing. I don't even know. I don't even know the half of it in terms of, why we do what we do. But oh my word, that is funny. That's sincerely funny. I think I like grass 7 because it looks more like the kind of grass that you would, set up at. Now, the only problem with potentially using grass all over the place is that it might not change color with the seasons. So, I don't know. That one's actually gonna, I feel like that one's actually gonna work nicer. Let's put this up in a higher level of priority. And then let's see if we can color the grass. Does it matter? The only reason I'd want to do that would be to change the overall shading, and I'm not going to worry about that too much. That's fine. That's fine. PHI, parking, grass, 1. And we'll set that up as the pattern. It's going to be easier for me to create them for each individual strip and just copy and paste them all over the place. It's just going to be a lot easier for me, so I'll do it that way. This is a good day for scenery dev. I'm happy. I'm happy I turned the PC on to do it. Am I gonna have to tweak these just islands so that cars can park there more appropriately? I don't know. I'm gonna flex artistic license and say I might decide that PHI Aviation said you're not gonna have cars parking right next to these individual strips of grass because it's my scenery project and I'll design it how I want to. But details, details. I think this one went over a little too far. Let's tweak it. Actually, can I get rid of this point? Yes. Okay, good. And I think I used grass 7 before, so I'm probably going to use that again. Grass ground 6, excuse me. PHI parking grass. I think I'm going to make a new group for it. PHI parking grass 2. Grass ground 6, where are you? Right over here. All right, so we're going to put this into parking grass areas. PHI parking grass. And then in here, we're going to move this one over as well. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4 more, and then we'll be done with that parking area. And then I might work on the parking area here as well, or I might save that for the rest of this week. Let me see. If I can get this stuff done in the next 15-ish minutes, I might go here, here, and here, or I might finish these grassy areas and then work on the cover for this area and then be done. Because it looks like this is also an area for helicopters as well. At least it looks that way. I don't know. I don't know. We will see. Maybe the helicopters land here or they're serviced here, but not 100% sure. It's okay. And it looks like you parked way over by the grass area, so we're going to have to cover your truck up. Sorry, unnamed person. But I don't know. I just don't want to be afraid of making mistakes anymore. Failing is how we learn. It's implicit to the natural way that We just do life. So I'm not going to be afraid to mess up, especially if it's going to help me get to a finished product a lot faster. DHI parking grass 3. I'm gonna have to tweak these parking spaces. I'm sure I am. I'm just done being afraid of drawing these things and being like, oh well, this pixel has to be like just perfect. No, 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 no. Stop being that way, Digi. Just go ahead and do your thing. Go on, do your thing, because you need to. There's a life to be lived. All right. All right, just a few more to go. Save my work while I'm at it, because I would not want to lose all that traction. That would be a bummer. Even worse than the personal failure at Odell Williamson Municipal, because that sucked. It's not really a total failure. It's just that hangar. I need to have more foresight, thinking about how to render the windows better. I can tell you, I'm probably not going to make the same mistake I made there again. I'm not going to go bananas with creating windows and window panes. Wendo, thank you so much for the 300 bits. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very good to see you. Hopefully, you're having a very good afternoon. As you can tell, I'm back at Lafayette Regional. And we're working on parking spaces, not parking spaces, the grassy parking islands at PHI Aviation. And I'm trying to be methodical. Good to see you, friend. Hopefully, you're having a very good afternoon. I've got maybe another half an hour left in me, because I think once I get to about 3:15, which is going to be in a little bit less than half an hour, I need to wrap up. But as you can tell, I have been busy laying the groundwork here, because I don't like having areas that are supposed to be parking lots that don't have how am I going to call them, serviceable textures. So for example, this is the parking lot, and I'm going to put lines on it and such, but I need to figure out how I'm going to make all that work. And one thing I forgot to do was actually increase the priority of these grassy island parts of the parking lot so that you could actually see them when you draw this surface texture. See? That's better. Happy Monday morning to you. Hopefully you are a-okay. Monday morning. Yeah. 4:39, just before 5 a.m. your time? Or even earlier? That's commitment, sir. So, where are we? Who? Focus, Digi. 7:49 a.m. UTC. Okay, got it. Thank you. Wow, my brain took a left turn. But all the same, very happy to have you aboard. I'm really trying to be as consistent as possible and just stay the course, because I wanna get this done. I want to add detail without being burdened by the level of detail that I'm providing. So it's hard to describe, but I'm trying to move efficiently. And I'm going to move this into the PHI parking grass group because it needs to go there. Where are we? There we go. Wishing you and your family and friends very well. So those are all the grassy areas. And if I draw the parking lot surface, there we go. They're all covered. And I can put lines across all this when I get to that point. So I'm going to take this. Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's see. Because in Auckland, it's 7:51 a.m. Mm-hmm. Now, what else can I do in another 15, 20 minutes? Um, Probably work on these areas, believe it or not. And I gotta remember to put as much stuff in here as I can. And these are gonna be default objects in FS 2020. In FS 2024, when I remake this, it's gonna be maybe a little bit more challenging if I don't have the base objects available. But that's a bridge we'll cross eventually. Okay. Okay, I want to keep it in the tarmac section. Yes. Okay. So we're going to create two different areas, and then I think we're going to call it quits here. We're going to create the asphalt, and then we're going to create the concrete, which I believe is there. Yeah, this is asphalt, and this is concrete. All right. The goal, of course, is to make this airport detailed while keeping the general implementation of it very simple because things. Because I want to enjoy creating the scenery and because no attempt to duplicate any aspect of an airport in the simulator is ever going to be perfect. Even the bigs, even every company out there that's like the Fly Tampas and the Tropic Sim or Latin VFR or like all of them, even Vertical Sim, there's going to be a level at which you're going to hit this uncanny valley of realism, and you're going to be like, wait, I'm in the sim. This looks nice, but there's just like one spot missing. My opinion. Let's see. This is probably where it ends. So hold on right there. Old Zealand, that's a good question. I am not sure. Kind of wish I knew. They might be giants once said Istanbul, not Constantinople. Even old New York was once New Amsterdam. Why they changed it, I can't say. People just liked it better that way. Actual song lyrics, by the way. I'm, I'm not being meme-tastic, although I am in some sense. And there's some concrete here. And then we'll do this. And then I can do probably a straight line across the tarmac down back to the place where it begins. Oh, well, not quite, but you guys get the idea. Um, I might just let it go. Now that's something I did not know. That is dope. All right, so ground merging is going to be removed, and I'm going to replace, the buildings, of course. This is just really simple for me. And material editor, this is going to be Asobo asphalt, and we're going to use generic 3. And we're going to color it It's going to be really dark. So we're going to go into coloration, open up the color system, and go like super dark. Actually, does it need to be that dark? Yes, it does. Maybe not that dark, but dark. Like low 40s should do it, and this is going to have to be dark as well. And that should cover it. There we go. All right. And we're going to do PHI, aviation, asphalt ramp. And then we'll do the concrete ramp. And probably the other stuff that goes with it. So let's continue. Is that? It is concrete. Great. Nice. So I'll be able to get all this done in one pass. Okay. Pretty sure it's a gated entranceway here. Hold on. Now we'll take this and we will go straight across all the way to probably about here. Does that make sense? No, it does not. I'll do this, and then I'll do that. Right to about here. Cover over the asphalt a little bit because I'm lazy. And then that'll pretty much go... That'll go out to here, actually. That's actually grass. I see that now. And I'm literally just guessing it's going to be here. This entrance way to the building. And I'm not going to sweat it. Scale it back a little bit. And then go right back to the road. And is that curved? No, it's not. It's just flat. Do I care about the sidewalk? Not right now. Sidewalk's kind of got that shade going on. Alright, so gonna have to remember that. Alright, that's good enough. And now I can take this all the way back down here. Out to here. And there we go. Yep, that's concrete as well. Alright, I've got about 15 minutes to go. I'm actually going to call it once I get done with this area, because I do definitely want to make sure that I'm set to go to spend time with folks this afternoon don't want to be late. But we're tracking pretty good here. Feel reasonably good that we're going to be able to get this section done. As long as my schedule and my responsibilities this week stay fairly consistent, I will probably be able to do a little bit more dev this week as I just normalize my schedule by the grace of God. I'm looking forward to hopefully having things come along more smoothly, and that will mean that I'll just kind of get it back into a flow. And I'm being generous with my boundaries here, and I'm kind of doing that on purpose because I'm I might play around with the uh, fall off values for a lot of these aprons when I start wrapping up the ground cover, which at this rate could actually be pretty soon. I used to go right up to where I thought the border was and then kind of have this like extra area, but because I'm using a different satellite imagery source right now, just a more updated version of Bing, I'm I don't know. I guess maybe I'm padding the placement of the aprons, and I might also offset that by building some extra, putting in extra grass textures. I don't know. I played around with that once in the past. I'm just trying to figure out how to best approach it going forward. My timing on the Buy Me a Coffee and Streamlabs stuff, it's supposed to be offset, so I apologize. I'm seriously considering applying for crowdfunding, but I'm not sure. Kind of like one of those things where, like, your friend is like saying, I don't know, like maybe I should like ask this person out. You're like, ask him out. If they say no, at least you'll know. It's like, but I can handle the rejection. Then you're going to be thinking about a scenario that you don't know the answer to. So there's that. So I'll look into that a little bit more this week and to see what the process is and how to actually make it meaningful and enjoyable. I know so many of us do not have a lot of disposable income, and I want to do things the right way. Maybe the right way is for me to be quiet and do the best I can at my IRL job, and then just, you know, enjoy these moments and not worry about crowdfunding anything. Because then there'll be no no expectation with regards to, oh well, like you have to hit your funding goal and you have to produce all these things. Like, one step at a time for me. It's a challenge, not gonna lie. Figuring out how to put your mind at ease about a whole bunch of things, including funding and deciding how you're going to spend your time doing stuff. But I am not getting any younger. And maybe that is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I might want to put my eggs in this basket and just take them to market, see how much they're worth. Okay, this is almost done. All right, hold on. Gotta rest my mouse wrist for a moment. Let's see. Can't save my work because I'm still building. And I do not want to press enter right now. But fortunately, I think a lot of this is going to be done fairly soon. So, yeah, I think I'm on track here. Let's take this all the way out to here, and it does curve down. That's fine. Appreciate everybody that stopped by today to say hello or to check me out. And to anybody lurking or watching in the background, thank you. Never feel bad about lurking. Your presence is boosting the channel algorithm, so thank you. And I hope that my banter is producing some good background noise for you. Otherwise, my apologies. Have no idea why some of these concrete spots are professional lurker. Nice. All right. All right. Lurker at work. Did I? Yeah, that's actually a little bit too far off the mark. It's hard to tell sometimes. But these kinds of spots are the ones that you can kind of deal with later. So how far away was that? Not that far. All right. So I'm going to use this kind of shadow here as what I'm assuming the concrete boundary is because I choose to. One of the things I'm kind of hoping for with FS 2024 is that the way they do ground texturing and terrain terraforming. I hope that's improved because that would be superb. And it looks like there's a concrete piece here that I'm going to include just by default. I don't know what this is for, but I can't tell. The satellite imagery kind of puts some. Oh, this could be a pipeline of some kind. Ooh. Interesting. All right, well, we'll put that there. And here we go. We're coming up on this area where I guess they have some helicopters they're servicing. And what about this area here? Okay, yep. And then we're gonna go to here. Bit of a sharp left turn, right to here. And if I really want to be persnickety about it, I could probably cover all that. I'm not going to. Actually, you know what? It wouldn't make sense for me not to, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Palpatine be like, do it. Palpatine School of Scenery Design. Do it. Yes, I went there. All right, now, do I care about going over all this area? Not really. I think that's all covered, and there's an entrance here somewhere, but I'm not going to freak out about it too much. What I might do is I might just take this up in a straight line out to here, and then extend the parking or extend the concrete back to this wall a little bit more. And there we have it. We have now concreted this entire area, and now we can get real picky with what we're doing and make it better than the asphalt cutouts, vertices that I had before, because I'm picky like that. Ta-da! Sweet! Alright, one-click placing off. Let's take this point and bring it in, because picky. And then take the material, go to concrete, pick square beige, and there we go. Let's get rid of ground merging for now. And again, when we start getting really tactical about the objects that we're going to replace in the scenery, we'll bring ground merging in. We might even hide the texture flat out so that we can see where things are supposed to go. Ground merging adds more randomness to the things that are here, but I'm not even sure if by itself ground merging is going to make everything less repeaty than it is. I mean, technically, yes, it doesn't look like it's repeating crazy like it is right now, but I don't know. I think 26 degrees might be the way. No, actually, it's not. 24? Nope, 25. Look at that. Because you can't do non-whole numbers for rotation. They gotta be integers. Unless, of course, I'm wrong. Nope, nope, nope. It rounds up. It rounds up or down. But there we go. We kind of covered some ground today. Sheesh. We did this segment, this segment, this segment. We came down here, we worked on this parking area, got these grassy islands in. I'm probably going to add some more in here as well. This section, I might work on the, actually, I'm sure I'll work on the parking area here this week. And now what we've got is what is it, PHI Aviation, main tarmac, PHI Aviation tarmac. Let's see, concrete ramp. And now what I can do is take this and turn it into its own group called PHI Aviation. And then we're going to take the asphalt ramp, stick it in here. Take the parking, stick it in here. And boom, covered some ground. Literally, oh, well played. Well played. We've gotten pretty far, actually. There's a lot more to do, of course, and eventually I'm going to want to create the tarmac for the parking area and really make this place shine. And that'll happen by God's grace. Meanwhile, we've got these areas covered. I can bring the buildings back if I want to. I probably will. There's going to be a lot of default buildings. Or I can make really basic custom buildings with signage, which I can probably work on figuring out how to get that. Maybe I'll assume certain dimensions and do things. My scenery is probably not going to be measurement accurate, but hopefully it'll look great. We got a lot of stuff covered. We got the PHI heliport north and south areas. Well, heliport here and the aviation area here. I'll have to, bring in the buildings and maybe create some different interiors or whatnot. Maybe I will have some interiors for these buildings here. I don't know. But other than the parking area here, I think we've got most of the ground cover set. I might work on this next at some point, but I'm not going to work on this. This can stay the way it is. And I might create this next as well, because I think I want to create what is this, the VOR antenna? Either VOR or NDB. Educate yourself, DIGI. I might create some of these roads and leave some of these completely to textures. This I might turn into a concrete, like a kind of like broken down asphalt road to make it just stick out just a teensy bit more. I haven't created this road yet. I was going to at one point, but then I just got stopped by other stuff. There's plenty to work on. I'll create parking areas and such for the buildings that are, I think, immediately next to the airport property. Some of these are going to stay as default buildings and default areas because I kind of want to make, just work on the airport, and I might build them out in future. I agree. I agree. I think signature is certainly going to be way more available in terms of, pictures and such. The terminal as well. And then the rest of it will just infer. And the terminal interior is, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a simplified interior. I'm going to try to model as much as I can in terms of basic shapes and areas, but I might grab some generic textures out there for like signage and whatnot. I might, if it's allowed, grab some signage of like typical brands you might see in airport terminals and stick them on sections and just kind of like inset them a little bit, or actually create 3D areas, but I'm not going to go ham on, you can buy like coffee mugs on here. I mean, maybe I will in the more obvious sections, but I want to create this place as a place where you can fly into, enjoy the scenery, and not have major problems with frame rates. But let me stop and hit build all. 20 minutes. Can I be done in 20 minutes? I hope so, because that's what it is. Whew. Okay, no errors? Great. My friends, unfortunately, I gotta head out and I gotta do it quick. But quick, again, thank you so much, everybody that stopped by today. Mwendo, again, thank you so much for the 300 bits that you graciously provided today. Love your soul. Thank you so much for the support and for the encouragement. Thanks to everybody that stopped by, said hello, that's been hanging out. Um, and to my lurkers again, thanks for boosting the channel algorithm. Much love to everybody. I will be back on this week, evening times, for quick blasts of scenery dev, and they may or may not have audio. Stay tuned, and hopefully we'll get something really good going with this very soon. Much love to everybody, and like I always like to say at the end of every stream, if you want true peace, you want the Prince of Peace, and that is Jesus Christ. Thank you, friends. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy it. We are out of here. Until next time, much love to you. We'll see ya.